We've been through it all, went to war when duty called. Never left a man behind, we move as one is super strong. I don't want followers, that implies I'm the leader. I'm not the captain, I just gave them something they can believe in. I hold the lamp in the darkness, but they're the light that I needed to see the road that we walk in between the angels and demons. And my fans have my back. Hate us if your feelings don't like facts. And my fans will fight back. Beat you with the keyboard you've been using to write back. I guess we need each other like both sides of the battery. We the army, we the homies, we the gang, we the cavalry. We're brothers and sisters, we hold it down like we gravity. Can't nobody break the bond that made us all family.
Me and my fans, we don't care what anybody say. Middle fingers to whoever in the way, man. Me and my fans, we gon' be together to the grave. It's the gang till forever and a day, man. Me and my fans, we don't even trip in the hate. We the all in our veins, man. Me and my fans,
We the hangover gang. Gang, 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 gang.
Oklahoma weather can dish out some of the worst punishment in the world. Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Tuttle. But now you can fight back by installing Class 4 impact-resistant shingles from Ferguson Roof Systems. These shingles can withstand large hail, heavy rain, and hurricane-force winds, all while keeping your home safe and dry. And the best part? This upgrade is completely free for many homeowners. So call today to start reaping the benefits these Class 4 shingles bring, including a discount on home insurance. Only at FergusonRoofSystems.com.
Hey everyone, Meteorologist Tuttle with you. It is, what time is it? It's about that time. That's what time it is. It's 9:38. It's October the 7th, and we're broadcasting live here on a Thursday night. Why? Well, I keep getting asked, what's the deal with the storms this weekend? So rather than just answer you one at a time, we're going to talk to the masses and get it all out there. And so we'll see what's happening. So thanks for joining me. I am streaming to you live through my hotspot of T-Mobile. Ooh, my internet saga continues. So Cox is having some trouble tonight. I have no Wi-Fi, also known as no internet. I have an upload speed of 0.1, which doesn't do it for me. So T-Mobile's always cranking right now. So if you're watching this, you can thank them. And so we'll eat up some of those unlimited minutes and minutes. We still say minutes. Unlimited data. And get this going to you. So if it's a little choppy for some reason, or if it pauses, you'll know why. All right. So this is the first time I've tried it since changing plans. I was with Verizon a long time ago. Then they hosted me. I went back and forth with them for about a year, and finally they basically just said, we don't care about you, Aaron. So I said, fine, I don't care about you. Hello, T-Mobile. So that's how that went. I'll see how it is. All right, so let's get on with the program here. So thanks for following me. By the way, please like and share this video. Share with your friends and family. I'm going to glance at my phone every now and then to kind of keep tabs on you. If you have any questions, try to hold them until I get to the Q&A part, which will be at the end of this. We'll try to make this relatively quick, so I know you guys have things to do. But we're going to talk about what kind of threat there is, and the data is just now coming in. For Sunday, we're getting within a better time frame of the data, so we'll see how that looks. All right. Okay, so without further ado, let's do the first thing here. National Weather Service for Sunday evening highlights the fact there is an enhanced risk and a slight risk of severe weather out here across the eastern half of Oklahoma, so again, not including western Oklahoma at this time. Severe thunderstorms are expected to develop in the western parts of the area with an increasing chance for strong to severe storms as they move east. Locations impacted may change. This right here is the key word. Let me circle this for you. I can't stress this loud enough. We can talk to the cows come home tonight, but I have to remind you, it is Thursday. We're talking about something that's 3 days away, so there's going to be some changes in the minute details that are about how things will evolve and affect people. And actually, I've kind of been keeping an eye on this the last couple of days, and honestly, the last couple of days of data, the models had it way too dry in the atmosphere. In other words, the bases would be very high, 10,000 feet, so in other words, we elevated storms, maybe a little bit of hail with them, but that was basically the biggest signal I saw today. Now that we're getting into the mesoscale window, we can see how much of the lower levels they can tap into for moisture. So things do change from here on out as far as details go. If you do look at the Storm Prediction Center, they are highlighting. Ooh, let me Let's see. There we go. Shrunk it down a little bit for you. So they're highlighting, again, nothing here through Saturday, Friday and Saturday. So the action here across the eastern half of the country eastern half of the state on Sunday. And then on Tuesday, they actually have another little ring possibly for some storms then. So we'll get to look at that. So as I mentioned in my blog, if you read it on Sunday, we do have typically a severe weather season for the month of October in about the first 2 weeks of November. And in there, it looked fairly quiet at the time when I was looking at the forecast. So sometimes things can change on the outlook when you're looking ahead that far if the jet stream pattern starts to become active. And it had been kind of flat and quiet, obviously, here for a while. But once it turns on, it flips like a switch, and usually we do get some activity. So we'll see how that bodes for us. Now, looking at the noontime data, this is the jet stream pattern, the upper levels of the atmosphere. Looked at three models, so the GFS, the NAM, and the Canadian. So this L represents the upper level low pressure system. So this is the vorticity, the spin in the atmosphere, the storm system itself that comes along with it. And the key is to kind of look at to where they are positioned within the data. So this is, let me go back 6 hours to the 0 hour. So this would be Sunday afternoon, the position of it Sunday afternoon. So the NAM has the little circle right here over the Texas Panhandle. So let me see. I'm going to flip over to the Canadian. It's got a little bit more to the west. Let me go to the GFS, and it puts it about over the Panhandle. So the GFS, the American, two American models, short term, one long term, both kind of agree on placement, with the outlier being a Canadian model a little bit lower. And if I look at the European model, which came in from this morning, and we'll see how it looks. Let's see what do we want to do here. Yeah, that one. Okay, so that one, for the same time frame, has it even more to the west with the Canadian model. So that's the big key, is the timing of this. In other words, when does it come across? Does it come across Oklahoma like late Sunday afternoon and evening? Or does it come across Sunday night and Monday? That's a big difference maker when it comes to severe weather magnitude, because you need some daytime heating, right, to really help to destabilize the atmosphere, of course, along with the moisture. So if everything's kind of ill-timed, in other words, mismanaged, say the storm system comes in too late, so you've lost the daytime heating from the sun, therefore temperature's now colder at night, you've lost instability. Same thing can come in too early, for example, and then you don't really have the moisture come in time, well, then you've lost a chance for instability. So there's a lot of things that can happen that can really mess things up. So that's why you really don't even pay much attention to the details of this stuff until you're about 3 days away, and then start to get 2 days away, you really start to fine tune. So about the 48-hour window is what I like. Especially we're going to talk about tornadoes. I really don't like to talk about them prior to that, but I know people talk about it anyway. Okay, so let's take a look at the latest mesoscale model that came in. So this is just off the presses here. So this is the NAM model, and it goes out to 72 hours. So what has it done? It's sped up just a little bit. So Sunday afternoon. So let's look at the latest data. We're going to look at it together because I have not seen it yet. It's got the upper level low here across the northeastern Texas Panhandle and Oklahoma. So what happens in this region here is the area of instability and lift. So this is where your active weather will be. Believe it or not, it's not actually under the upper level low. It's out ahead of it. So this is all the lift right here that generates the precipitation that comes out ahead of the storm system. It's called that positive vorticity advection, PVA. Okay, we also need some mid-level lift, so let's take a look where that is. Okay, so a lot of times this can happen on the dry line, or it can happen with a front or some type of surface trough, and where you see the brighter colors lined up here, that's where you have a lot of lift. So this is the I-35 corridor. So the NAM right now is very bullish on instability as far as lift in the atmosphere, both in the mid-levels and the lower levels. All right, so that's something going in its favor. The position of the upper level low is timed out pretty good. So now, and let's see what the upper level winds look like. So we'll go to 300 millibars, and we'll see what the jet stream looks like even aloft. Okay, so in this particular case, again, your low is going to be out here in this region. And you've got a nice jet core structure here coming in to the northwestern part of the state. So the jet is aligned. There's a little speed max. This red color indicates higher wind speeds. In this particular case, we're looking at about 110, maybe 120, looks like knots. So that's some good wind. All right. So we've got so far upper level winds good. We've got the mid low level energy good. All right, let's see what else we got on the ingredient list. You got to have all the ingredients to bake the cake. So let's see what kind of cake we're going to bake. One of the most important ones is going to be the dew point values. So let's take a look at how those stack up. Okay, so the dew point values, the purple represents the really juicy stuff, and that's down here in Texas. So we got the green, which is not bad. It's mid to upper 60s, looks like here across Oklahoma. So that's a lot of instability building material. So in other words, the Gulf of Mexico is opened up. If you look at the wind, it should be coming out of the south. Yep, there it is. So you can see these little wind barbs here driving it due south, and that's going to be into a surface low reflection. So here's a surface low right about here, which looks like it's just north of Oklahoma City. And there's usually sometimes a couple of lows, especially in this elongated pattern. It just kind of depends on where things set up. But the low, believe it or not, is vertically stacked. So, okay, let's say you've got a low here. Let's say I live right here. My finger lives at the surface. All right, let's say my other finger is at 500 millibars or 10, 15,000 feet, whatever you want to say. All right, so the low starts here, but it actually transverses up top and it goes in a slanted direction. So it's actually stacked in a level. So, but we just look at a different layer. We just chop it in layers and we draw an L on the map to make it easy for you. So it's all the same storm system, but just in different places, depending on which level of the atmosphere you're looking. All right, we got the low in play. Now, typically, the best wind shear comes into the low. We put that back on the map here. Let's see, this actually had it closer to Pawnee, up I-35. So what happens on the low is the winds come into this as more of an easterly fetch, all right, versus a southerly fetch. Now, if you're going to be talking about tornadoes, for example, you want more of an easterly or southeasterly fetch. So, and just off the general purpose, usually this map, you would focus in for the best, if we were to say tornado risk this far out, I'm not going to, but if we were to, we would focus in this quadrant, the sweet spot of where the winds are the best, and you get the best pooling of the dew point values, which looks like about 69 here in this point. So that would be the sweet spot for, if I was a storm chaser and I want to go to initiation point, for storm development, I'd pick there. If I had to use this map and I got nothing else to go on between now through Sunday, that's what I got to work with. That's the way it would be. All right, so now let's go look at the wind speeds themselves. Should be picking up with this developing low. So they're up around now. Yeah, they're in the blue shading. So about 20 miles to maybe gust to 30 miles per hour coming into the low. So we've got the wind there at the surface. That is adequate. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here I want to take a look at? I do theta E just because it should be the I-35 corridor, and it is. Okay, let me go to severe weather parameters. All right, so this is where we get into the meat and potatoes. So CAPE, what do we got to work with? So the CAPE is a mixture of how much instability is there when you factor in the moisture and the upper level lift. And so you really need about 1,000 joules to get some good storms going. You need 2,000 really or higher to get some really ugly storms going. Sometimes we hit in Oklahoma, we can get late spring, early summer, up around 6,000 or 7,000 joules. It's overkill. Atmosphere doesn't need that much, believe it or not. And sometimes there's too much, of a good thing. So, but this is adequate. 2,000 is fine. Even a 1,000 up here or 1,800 around that little surface low. That's all good. All right, so we've got the CAPE. What about a cap? Will there be a cap based? And I'm going to look at a few of those. So it does have a little capping layer in here along the boundary that it's looking at, which can happen. Let's see. Let me go to, that was mixed layer CAPE. Let me look at surface layer. Same kind of idea. All right. Let me go look at surface basin. Yep, same kind of idea. All right. And let me go lifted index. So lift index usually is another good instability marker. This one's up around -6, and that sweet spot is up around -8. Really anything over a -6 is good, if you wanted storms, of course. We'll go lifting condensation level. So this is where the cloud base height is. So this is the big difference maker. All right, so here we have Oklahoma City, for example, we got 688 meters above the ground. In other words, if you could reach your hand up, and your hand was 600 meters tall, you can multiply that by 3 to get your feet. So it's 3 meters to a foot. So, but you can reach the clouds at that level. All right. If you go up here into the white area, you're really touching the clouds at 69 meters. I mean, you can look up above your roof and see them. That's in other words, that's kind of the level where the storms would form. So the lower the storms can form, the better they are at grabbing that instability. And if there was a potential for tornadoes, the better that vortex has to develop and reach the ground versus trying to stretch way up top. So that's a benefit if that's something that you're looking for. Now, way down here in southwest Oklahoma, man, there's 3,000 feet or 3,000 meters. It's 17 out here and 17,000 out here, or 1,700 rather out here in western Oklahoma. So that's way high. In other words, there's moisture starved, a lot of dry air out here. That's what that means. All right, let's go on to another parameter. Storm helicity. Now again, we're just looking at this live on the fly. I have not looked at any of these. This is the first time, so that's why it's going to take a little longer to look at it, but you get what I get. All right, so helicity values, anytime you get about 200 or more, it's adequate, and we've got that here over this little sweet spot in northeast Oklahoma, even down here in parts of central. Okay, energy helicity index, I like this too. Not that high, kind of marginal. All right, supercell composite. The models think there's going to be supercells within this, the potential. In other words, the storms will rotate. So they do like that favored position here across I-35 here in Oklahoma City. And notice out here in Canadian County, it drops off, so not much happening out west of the metro. Now, significant tornado parameter, in other words, EF2 type criteria. Could it be possible? Well, the values are ticking up to around a 2. And they keep in mind this is low end. So in other words, this is kind of barely registering on the lower end of that scale. The scale can go up to like an 8, which is off the charts. So this isn't exactly screaming Armageddon, but it does say, all right, we got some parameters here that can cause a problem. All right, let's go to the surface cape, crossover with the shear. So this is where the winds turn with height. So this particular case, it's got some adequate wind shear where you see kind of a triangle look. All right, so from really Oklahoma City points south, east, and north up to about to Ponca City, and really back out here to this little quadrant here for eastern Oklahoma. This is in the 7 p.m. time frame on Sunday. Now keep in mind as we go each hour, this little corridor shifts to the east. All right. Okay, so those are all the parameters that we have to work with. So if I were to have to base a forecast off of this, I had nothing else to go on, then yeah, I would have to call for a threat of some severe weather. Now let's take a look at, I want to see what the forecast soundings look like at this point. All right, so I'm going to pick Oklahoma City. So I want to see this in a different view. Okay, so on a forecast sounding, what we look for is adequate shear, which we do have. Okay, we have a classic supercell structure. All right, the winds are a little weak here, 2 kilometers, looks like, but still overall not bad. Lifting condensation levels, not bad, it's under 1 kilometer, and we really don't have really a cap at all. In other words, a lid here in Oklahoma City for it to take this up. The wind speeds and the direction of the shear isn't bad. So the model likes to get excited about it, so it's doing what they call a PDS TOR, which means particularly dangerous situation, tornado threat. And then it gives a little line down here which says it could be as high as an EF4. All right, and then it also says, hey, you know, for past cases in the analogs, we try to compare similar setups. There's significant threat for supercells. All right, and the Cape's around 2,000. Okay, so again, if you had to base a forecast tonight, which is Thursday, which is a long ways away from Sunday, then you're like, all right, looks pretty good for storms on Sunday evening, right? And looks like maybe potentially something, you know, we could see tornadic. All right, now let me go to the actual lid part of the line. See how quickly the atmosphere changes. So this will be behind the boundary that we're going to have in place to kickstart things, just so I can see how quickly the cap builds in and the instability leaves. All right, that's all I wanted to see. All right, so decent hodograph, decent shear, decent cape, decent instability, decent moisture return, all that stuff. So all in all, looks like a pretty decent but severe weather potential for Sunday evening. All right, now let's look at what the actual, let's see, oh, it doesn't have it on this one. What does the model do with the precipitation? That's the key. Let's see what it does here. All right, so this is, again, 7 o'clock on Sunday. Let me go back 3 hours. Yeah, so nothing happens for Sunday afternoon. That's 5 o'clock, so no big deal. All right, so there's, again, moving through 7 o'clock. Let's go into the 9 to 10 o'clock hour. And what happens between that 3-hour window, which this model won't show you, it develops into a squall line all the way down into North Texas. And some pretty decent storms on signature here for Oklahoma, southeastern, east central, and northeast. Kind of in that sweet spot we talked about. And then continues to form a squall line as it moves through by midnight over eastern Oklahoma to far western Arkansas. So we're looking at a 6-hour window from the I-35 corridor to the state line before it moves in Arkansas. So from basically 6 p.m. to midnight, and then it starts to shift out of the state. But as a squall line, usually squall lines are wind-driven, and this is overnight, so it's going to lose a lot of its intensity. Keep that in mind. So a lot of times, tornado threat and all that kind of stuff usually diminishes overnight. It's rare for it to increase. We'll take a look at the parameter here in a second. But you can see the squall line starts to kind of break up by late into Monday morning through Arkansas, Missouri. So by the time you get up Monday morning, that it's not much left of it, okay? All right, let me go back to the how the tornado risk looks as we step it through time. So let me go back here to 69 hours. Okay, so there's again 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It starts to build into the 6 to 7 o'clock hour. And then as we head into the 9 to 10 o'clock hour, that activity shifts into the eastern third of the state, along with the rest of the storms. And then it starts to wane or diminish in intensity by midnight, which means everything on those parameters are weakening because we've lost the daytime heating from the sun, et cetera, et cetera. So the atmosphere, it's slow to build up, and it's also slow to wind down when it comes to some of those parameters, all right? So there you go. So the threat, if there were to be any tornadoes, would be along with that for the evening hours until it basically gets to the Oklahoma line, state line in Arkansas, which means you guys in Arkansas can breathe a little easier, and also in Missouri and probably eastern Texas. Okay, so that was a lot. Let me see if there's any other models that come in. No, that won't be that far. Let me take a look at this one for something. So hold on. Let's see. All right, Sunday morning. Okay, there we go. So Sunday morning, the high-res NAM already has a good chunk of the moisture already in here. And the higher-res version of the Big Brother we just saw has a lot more details. So it's got the typical strong cap in the morning that's supposed to erode throughout the day as that upper level low approaches. So in other words, nothing goes out ahead of it. It all just has to wait for the brute forcing with the upper low and then the surface boundary with it. All right, so let's move on. Rainfall amounts. With this system and others, let me go, that was one thing I did not do, so let me click on total QPF, and then we'll go back to the sky. Okay, so you can kind of see, am I in the right ballpark? Yeah, okay. So this is a total accumulated, boy, say that again 3 times, Aaron. Total UPF accumulation. Anyway, all it does is mean a total of rain. So we've got about an inch or so in these heavier downpours of that squall line, where it really kind of shapes up here in eastern Oklahoma. Here in central Oklahoma, and let me zoom this in so you can get a little better look. Again, they're not going to know the exact placement of the rain, but it kind of gives you the idea of when it thinks storms will develop. So it has them developing here in north central Oklahoma, back into northwest of the Oklahoma City metro, and then kind of skirting through the north, and then continuing that more of that widespread squall line here in eastern. But what you do notice is a little bit of a dry slot where may not get much activity here in this quadrant of southwest Oklahoma, and that may nose into parts of the metro. So it's not a guarantee that Oklahoma City gets storms. It's just we're in a favorable area, but devil's in the details, and we're on a Thursday night, so you're not going to get those details. But that just kind of gives you a picture of how that could stack up. And if you kind of take a more, I don't know, a less coarse or more coarse grid, the Weather Service tries to do a little bit more model blending and throw in some other numbers, and they get more of a widespread look to rain across the state. I think this is going to be a little excited, especially out here in the west. I don't know if you'll get that much, depending on timing and stuff. But we're still well away before we can kind of fine-tune that. But what we will get before that is heat, man, and that's disgusting. I was really hoping we would not see widespread 90s anymore, but Remember that ridge I talked about bubbling up, kind of nosing into Oklahoma for the end of the week? Well, it not only did that, but it did that times 10. So we cranked it up from right around 90 to now we're 96 here in Oklahoma City for your Friday, 97 in Lawton. So close to 100 down there in Wichita Falls. So it's just going to be a gross day. Now, the humidity's still low, so it won't feel that bad, which is good. Dry heat, And then on Saturday, though, a little bit more moisture works in, and that does help to knock the temperatures down by a couple of degrees, but it therefore also feels a bit more humid. So there's a little bit of a trade-off. Overall, if you're really wanting those nice hot summer days, tomorrow and Saturday is for you. And on Sunday, we're back into the 80s again, and that's just because of all of the moisture that's worked in, a little bit of cloud cover, that kind of stuff. That'll help to keep temperatures cooler, but still obviously warm enough to get some of those storms to get fed off of as far as instability goes. Now, if you really want some good weather, wait till after Sunday. So daytime highs at that point here in Oklahoma City will be into the 70s. Woohoo! Overnight lows into the 50s. Now that's my October kind of weather. I love October weather. So that's what it looks like in the outcome for the distance. All right, so I'm just glancing over here at the Facebook. So Eric, I see you. Vicky, I see you sending me some stars tonight. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Ruby, I see you. She's got 99 stars thrown at me. These are not Chinese stars, by the way. These are nice stars. Now, when I was younger, we used to get Chinese stars and nunchucks because we were going to be ninjas growing up. Now, I can tell you that didn't work out. I did not become a ninja. I may have become a weather ninja, but did not become a martial arts ninja. So I guess we can hang up that dream. All right. Ridiculous. Okay. Tiffany, I see you there with some stars. Thank you very much. Pam, I'm making you dizzy. I hear you. I hope that was helpful. It was a little bit longer tonight because I didn't get a chance to look at it because the day just now came in, right? And sometimes it comes a little later, and I have to look at it with you on the fly. All right, let me look and see if there was you guys on YouTube, if you had anything to say. By the way, Twitter is, the integration for Twitter is up and running again, no problem. It's a little bit different because it's not Periscope anymore, even though they call it Periscope behind the scenes, which is really dumb, from my end, how I integrate with it. But as far as like a live chat feature, I think that's not available. I'll have to see. I'm gonna click on it and see if I can see it on my end. No, I don't.
A little bit different.
So sorry about that. So if you want more of a chat function or where I can see your comments live, I think you're going to have to do it on Facebook or YouTube. I'll check into that, see if I can't find something I'm missing, but that's the way that goes. Prince of Rain's in the house. Paul's here. Matt, you're welcome. Glad I could bring you some calm weather. And Susan from Mustang is in the house. I don't see Jim. Jim's usually in the house from Mustang. I'm kind of disappointed he didn't show up tonight. I'm sure he'll catch the replay. Okay. Anything else? Robert, by the way, I see you with some stars tonight on Facebook, so appreciate you. Emmanuel, he's from Tulsa, and he wants to know if there's going to be a chance to see tornadoes in Tulsa. Well, I can tell you this. Right now, the weather data, the preliminary data, which is very early, indicates we'll probably see some pretty decent severe thunderstorms. The atmosphere looks like it's going to be capable of producing those. And with the wind shear in play, odds are might see a couple of tornadoes out of it. Now, the problem is it's still Thursday. So if you want to get specifics with more details, that kind of stuff, you need to wait till Friday evening. So I'll do a live update for you then. And then on Saturday. And then we'll do one then. And then I'll probably end up doing one Sunday afternoon or noontime kind of a deal. So look for about 3 updates from me. Oh, I forgot to do this. Dadgummit, Aaron. Oh, you're getting old, dude. Okay, so I meant to post this link in the live. So let me load this up, including you guys on my Patreon side. Paste. Okay, so some of you got a direct message from me tonight that I was going live. All right, you're like, well, how? Well, I'm going to tell you how. Paste. Okay, so I just posted a link. If you click on that link and Facebook did not notify you that I went live and you caught in late because it was 10 minutes late, or maybe you're just bebopping along your news feed and all of a sudden you see that I'm live and Facebook didn't tell you, click on this link and you can sign up to get live notifications directly from me through your Facebook Instant Messenger. Now, if Facebook goes offline again for 4 hours like it did the other day, or 6 hours, so, well, then everybody's screwed. But as long as that doesn't happen, it'll work. Now, if for whatever reason that does happen, just so you know, any of these social media platforms go down, you can find me on alternate platforms. So I broadcast live on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and then soon, if they can get their act together, Gab, because they have a live platform. And then there is Rumble as well that's now allowing live. I haven't looked into that yet because I can only broadcast so many different places at once. But those are some options in case one platform goes down. You can find me on another. That way I can reach all of you, as many of you as I can. Because some of you like certain platforms, some of you like other ones. And I could care less which one you use. They're mostly all the same. Each of them kind of caters to different crowds or whatever, different likes, interests, whatever. I don't care. My point is to send you weather. So if you want the weather, I want to make sure I can reach you. So that's why I do that. And right now I can go to at least 4 different broadcasts at once, 4 different platforms. I haven't tried 5 yet. I need to make sure my bandwidth is good. But if it is, then I can probably do 5 as long as I don't crush my GPU, which I'm already got it hacked to do the 4. Another little trick, man, it's fun on this deal that you don't know about. So when you set up a situation like I do, you have to use a graphics card, a very high-end graphics card, right? And there's a lot of high-end gaming graphics cards that do great. Well, they lock those gaming cards down so that whenever you want to do live broadcasts, you can only do one core element at a time for a card, which is dumb because what happens is they sell a professional brand, which is about, say for example, if I say I can get let's just throw out a number, say I get a graphics card for $500. The professional brand would be $19,000. Now, they're built in the exact same architecture. But the professional brand they want you to use for what I'm doing instead of using the gaming card to do what I'm doing. Even though they both do the same thing, but one's locked down and one isn't. So I have to then do this and find a workaround, find a hack to unlock the gaming one so that I can do this to as many platforms as I want. Score, and I didn't have to spend $20,000. So anyway, that was just a little tidbit for you. That's one small example of what it's like to do all of this behind the scenes and build it all up. Says the link isn't working. It's not, but then someone says it's working for me. Okay, now you guys, when you do that, I have no idea what your problem is when that happens because I don't know who to believe. So try it again if it didn't work for you. And let's see. I'd click on my phone, but I'm using my phone. That link isn't working. You know what? I'm gonna paste it again, and then I'm gonna try it myself. So hold on. Okay, it's posted. Clicked on it. What does it do? Connect with your favorite people. Continue as Aaron Tuttle. And that link works. You guys gotta be logged in. Now you might have to have Facebook Messenger logged in. Like you know how Facebook Messenger is a separate app on your phone, so you might have to have that logged in. But otherwise, I just clicked on it. It works for me. So if it doesn't work for you, I don't know. Try it again, or get you a new computer, or learn how to use your computer, Luke. I see you, man. Anyway, so try that again if that didn't work, because I just tried it again and it worked for me. Let me think. Anything else? I had to hit refresh, then it worked. Well, there you go, Jessica. Jessica to save the day. She's got the scoop. What else? Karen is late to the party on YouTube. What I miss? Oh, good grief. Jeff is in the house. Yeah, Blackwell, Oklahoma looks like a pretty good spot for some storms Sunday after 6 o'clock, or maybe right about 6 o'clock. So somewhere right around then. You have to check back in, though, dude. It's Thursday. So you're trying to get a specific time on this far out. I mean, I'm good, but I don't know if I'm that good. So I can only work with what the data tells me. And if the data's lying to me, well, then that means I feed you lies, and I don't want to feed you lies. So that's why I kind of tell you I always check back later as we get closer to it. Let me think. What time is it? It's about 10:11. It's time to go. Now, I do know some of you want to turn this off and go watch the fearmongers on TV. All right? Now, as if you don't have enough fear going on 24/7 with COVID and everything else with it. So this is the point where they try to steal some of that fear away from COVID and they bring it back to where it belongs, and that's weather. So you've got to get a good dose of fear for your weather tonight. So make sure you tune in to the TV stations here, 4, 5, and 9. They're all the same. Won't matter. You can pick one. And you'll get your healthy dose of fear for coming up on Sunday. But you don't need fear to just be aware or plan or prepare. And like I said, at Thursday, I'd just be aware. If you're planning on doing something Sunday evening, plan on the fact there'll probably be some storms around. Beyond those two things for today, that's all I'd even deal with. And then tomorrow, we'll plan maybe a little bit more. Maybe we'll have a closer time frame for you. And then maybe we'll plan a little more for more of the potentials that are there with the storm, such as hail size, if there's going to be any. And then if there were going to be tornadoes, where the best location for those would be to occur and that kind of stuff. All right. And that's how we approach it here at AT's Weather. All right. So Amy says she had to hit the 3 dots to open up the browser. Worked for me, Phil. All right. So there you go, Luke. There's your there's your tidbits on how to get your thing to work. Hey, you know what? I'm proud of T-Mobile, man. They came through for me. Something Verizon never could. I got to reach you guys on 4 platforms tonight through my cell phone. Doing this through my computer from a hotspot. That's golden. You have no idea. Cox, man, get your act together. I'm going to have to contact my guy over there and see what's up so I can get that fixed. Because we can't be having that with severe weather season. All right. You guys have a great night. Thanks for again tuning in. Sorry it's been a minute. But usually when it gets real quiet around here, I get quiet because I like to get caught up in other things and rest and take a breath because, trust me, weather never stops. So I like to take a break when I can because that way I stay fresh for you when it comes up later. All right, guys, have a great night tonight. Thanks again for watching. And tell your friends about AT's Weather. Like, share, all that kind of stuff, especially with this upcoming weekend. And we'll do it again tomorrow. All right, good night.